Okay, this is now the ERP part of the Julipart software. Now, in 2014, I released the point of sale and the ERP software, which is part of the JICO model. Now, the development started around 2012, and then it was released in 14 and 16. So what is ERP? ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. And what does it do? All right, well, it links all the critical parts of your business to make you more efficient as a company generally and as an e-commerce company specifically. So for instance, this image here would be the Julipart 7.0 e-commerce software. The purchasing will be the vendors that you purchase from, like Stella, Quality, Go, and other companies that you may have accounts with. Manufacturing, let's say this for like repairs. If you do repair work, any products that you personally customize, you may do custom pieces, custom rings. You may have inventory that's unique to your company that you're not sourcing from other manufacturers. It controls that. Finance, it has integrations with QuickBooks, so that all of your product receipts, invoices can be processed into a financial component. Dashboards, you can actually generate charts if you want to take a closer look at your data. So for instance, let's say you may want to do a search, or you may want to do an analysis of your sales, or you may want to use those reports to get a deep analysis of which products is selling better than the others, which would also influence how maybe you need to restructure your website in terms of product placement, which products you should put out more. Time and projects. So repairs, custom jobs, you can track the status of those repairs, track the status of the orders, which can then update the client via the web. Distribution. So how do you control for shipping? E-commerce. If you're going to get into e-commerce, you're definitely going to have to control for shipping, distribution, tracking, shipping labels. That business logic is controlled with distribution. CRM and sales. How are you following up with your customers? What are you doing to constantly engage your customers? Do you have your customers' information centralized? Why is this important? I'll give you a case study. Coca-Cola in 1980 decided that they no longer needed to market anymore. They said they've been around since the 1930s, and they felt that there was just no need. They felt everyone knew us. And so they began to pull back advertising, and they began to pull back marketing dollars on the television. And shortly after that, their sales dropped 50%. So that's a very powerful lesson, that as it relates to your sales, as it relates to your customers, you have to engage your customers. What are you doing with those emails? Are you sending out email campaigns? Are you sending out newsletters? You must maintain constant contact with your customers. So in a nutshell, that's what that is. Now, jewelers are using ERP systems. They don't know they're using it, but for instance, programs like Edge, um, White Diamond, these computers that was created in the computer age. The problem with those programs, though, is that it doesn't, as it relates to the JICO model, it does not communicate. So let's say, for instance, if you have 6,000 products in your computer program, because it's a computer-based program, it's not on the web, so it can't communicate with the website, which can't communicate with the marketplace. So if you added 500 additional products here, you would not see it updated here. You would have to manually put it in the software, manually put it in the marketplaces. So what ERP does is that ERP essentially controls the time and space, right? Because we have so much time, Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday, you're open from 9 to 5 or from 10 to 6. And then weekends, you may be set for appointments only. But let's say, if 3 hours a day is just set to doing these redundant tasks, that's 15 hours a week. That's 60 hours. That's 60 hours a month. That's 600 hours in 10 months. that's 720 hours a year that's just dedicated to doing things that can be automated. Okay. And so companies that do not efficiently use an ERP system, this is basically what makes them a mom and pop, right? The reason why you're mom and pop is because you wear many hats. You wear the manufacturing hat. You got to call the supplier. You have to check if you're being paid, the invoices that's out. You have to get back to the customer. What's the status of the repairs? What's the status of the custom jewelry? You have to find out what's going on with the tracking label, the shipping label. You have to also maintain relationships with your customers. So this is what makes you mom and pop, because essentially that's where your 750 hours is going. But what the ERP does, if designed correctly, is that it gives you back your 750 hours where you can. And so by taking back your 750 hours, what that allows you to do now is to scale, right? So companies always say, well, I like to be a James Allen, or they want to be a Blue Now, right? But when you look at Blue Now, let me just go back to this JICO model. When you look at the Blue Now, you understand the web part, you understand the marketing, you understand the marketplace, you understand the admin. But without ERP, you would never be a Blue Now. You would never be a James Allen, right? So an ERP is the difference between a $500,000 company to a $2.5 million company. It's the difference between if you're a $2.5 million company to becoming a $15, $20 million company, right? The ERP is the only way that allows you to scale, okay? You cannot scale as a mom and pop. Mom and pop, you have fractional growth. So you may be able to maintain, but in terms of growth, in terms of, which is what all companies are looking for, is constant growth. It'll be a fractional marginalized growth, 3, 5, 6% growth yearly. But by having an ERP system installed, this now doesn't give you fractional growth, it gives you exponential growth. And you can see exponential just all the way around. Because now, essentially what the ERP system is that it's automating your entire processes from the back end. Okay, so let's say, so when I go here, okay, 15, that's 25, okay, that's 30. Marketplaces is still shares a space with the back office because it's inputting products. So if you look here, see 20, it's 35%. This is 35% of the model. And even if you just take the strict back-end process, 25% of your business is dedicated to the automation of your website and the back-end processes of manufacturing, repairs, and purchase order. So imagine if you didn't have an efficient admin or ERP in place. I mean, that's why now you feel stressed. That's why now you feel you don't have enough time. That's why now you like, why am I working so hard? Why why do I feel like I'm self-employed but I don't feel like a business owner, right? So in ERP, when you're mom and pop, you feel like you're self-employed, right? Because you're wearing the, like I said, you're wearing the manufacturing hat. When you're wearing the time and projects hat, the distribution hat. When you implement an ERP system, you go from feeling like you're self-employed to feeling like a business owner, because a true business owner should be able to automate his company, right? He should be able to automate his company, and he should be able to access it from different critical points and be able to catch his company, whether it's from a distribution angle, a manufacturing angle, a financial angle, right? He should be able to go into his ERP system, go right to QuickBooks, boom, pull something up, there it is. He should be able to look at a memo for a repair. He should be able to look at a memo for a custom ring. He should be able to see the comments and where we are in the flows, in the product, in the production cycle of Melissa getting her ring, or Julie getting her custom ring. I mean, getting her watch repair. He should be able to look at the PO orders, the purchase orders for diamonds, for jewelry, right? So this essentially allows, so ERP at the highest level is a software management model specifically as it relates to jewelry that allows jewelers now to automate the back end of their company, to scale their company, and then to move them from being self-employed to now becoming a business owner. So this is part 1A of the introduction of what an ERP system is. Part 1B now will go into the complete theory of how it works and how it will be implemented into your company. Thank you.